So, without further ado, Reverend Patty, would you pray us in?
All right, so let's take a nice deep breath in and release. Move into our heart space. We're aware that we are this magnificent love and light that is seeking to express. So as we gather today, we know that this is the beloved community. This is the place where we honor the Christ in one another. So as we hear what's happening in the life of the church, as we share questions and concerns, we just gather in the name of love and let love lead us, and we celebrate each person that is here, those that are not here. We celebrate each one that makes up this community. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Patty. Reverend Patty, would you like to do your report now? I am so sorry to make you go and sit down.
You'll get it anyway.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'm just giving kind of a snapshot of really wonderful things that have been happening since the beginning of the year. Well, the first one isn't the most wonderful, but we Zoomed 2 meetings. I've only Zoomed one other meeting the whole time I've been here because of the ice and the mess, but what a blessing it was to be able to be together even though we couldn't drive here. We have 2 new members are interested in serving as chaplains. Susan's prayer class was a hit, and she may do another one later in the year. We had a great Love in Action Sunday and a fun teddy bear Sunday with oodles of bears. Thanks to all who signed up to serve in Love in Action and shared their stuffies. And we gave thanks for Shari's decades of blessing us and Rachel's years as a YFM coordinator. And Josh and Jim Lakin are training to run the soundboard now. Yay! And I think we put this in the e-news, but I'm not sure, our beloved Marshall Horton transitioned, and I've spoken with his daughter, and we will be having a brief time in the garden near Pat's bench over the summer to celebrate. They don't want a complete celebration of life service, but we will have some acknowledgement happening. And then I spoke to Laura the last couple of days, and she's thinking about doing Rusty's service one of the last 2 Saturdays in June. So we're going to get that nailed down, and we will keep you posted on these dates. We had our first NGU Sunday morning and heard how they were blessed by Unity teachings. They were articulate and made beautiful music. And 7 from our group were up last weekend in Kansas City. The church supported them with their registration fee. So thank you for beholding the Christ in our young people and encouraging them. The men and women of Unity continue to create connection and bring in fun and fundraising. They are always open for new participants. We are welcoming 6 new members next Sunday on Easter Sunday. Another amazing group of people finding their path in Unity teachings and in our embrace. Our spirit groups recently finished, and new signups start on April 12th. Kathy is doing a fantastic job coordinating the groups and creating connection. Our Mary Morrissey Prosperity class just completed their studies. Debbie and Gary taught, and Nicholas and Ben ran technology, and together they created this magical learning time. And Debbie and Gary are willing to do another round in the fall, so that's excellent. Then Reverend Lisa and I are starting to teach Edwene Gaines' Prosperity book for 4 weeks, Sundays, starting April 12th, and you'll be seeing this in the e-news, from 12 to 1:30, because we have 2 candidates to be on the board, and they have to have had a prosperity class, and they missed the last one. So we don't normally do back-to-back like this, but we're getting folks geared up to be on the board. So anyone is welcome if you have missed a prosperity class and want to join in on that. We have 2 paid positions open in YFM, and myself or Janet would love to share information with you. And we're planning a new team approach, kind of modeled off of the fellowship committee, where you have 4 teams, or we could have 6, and you would do one every however many weeks for 1 Sunday a month with other volunteer support. And we have curriculum and lots of craft supplies. We're excited to begin this new approach. And I want to say thank you to each person who brings their energy of love to create this community. I love you and I bless you. I am grateful, I am grateful, I am grateful. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Patty. Oh. What happened to my stuff? Did you grab my stuff? That was an easy recovery. I just wanted to make a few comments this morning or this afternoon. First of all, I would like to introduce to you the board. If you'd stand when I call your name. I already introduced myself. Vice President Janet Loving Pitts. Our Treasurer, Myra Faderspiel. Our Secretary, Reverend Lisa Marks. Our members at large, and they are big. Jim Birch, Brent Jackson, and our trustees, let's see, Howard Green, Jane Gordon, and Tom Lehman. Did I get everybody? I write these names so many times. I also wanted to speak a little bit to what today is about. Today is our first meeting in quite a long time. The most important thing that I think the board is asking is that we hear from you, the congregants. What are your questions? What are your comments? What do you think about the board? And in saying that, it is our job together that we create an environment of love, an environment of safety, that we can speak our heart and our mind, that we ask questions and we hear each other in that love and in curiosity, and we help each other to reach those solutions or find those answers. Just a quick, last week I was talking about this certainly is a tool of transformation. What are the major areas of responsibility of the board? Well, we set policy, we review bylaws, we hire and support the minister. That is a very huge part of what we do, is to work with Reverend Patty and with her direction and her plans for the church. We fundraise and we have financial responsibility and accountability for how the money is spent, the maximum, most efficient way to manage our money, mortgages, mortgage rates, those kinds of things. Fiduciary responsibilities. I love that word, fiduciary. But the biggest, I think, responsibility that we have is as an advocate of the mission of this church and our congregation, an advocate of our congregants. This certainly is a way that we do this, to have these community meetings, and then of course in May we have an annual meeting. But I'm opening the door further I'm asking for those of you that are here today that you be more involved with the board, and the board to be more involved with you. I think sometimes I hear the board is mysterious or we don't communicate as much. I know we always have the minutes for our board meeting, and we have the financial monthly reports out in the hallway there for you to look at. But pick up the phone, come to a board meeting. We're wanting to expand ourselves. And as you will hear in the next few minutes, you'll hear really how busy we are in a lot of lanes in the church. I think the other thing that we are facing in this church is our space. We're facing the number of people that are filling our chairs on Sunday morning. Where is Unity Church of Bon Air going? That's part of the board's responsibility with Reverend Patty, is to figure out what's our future, what are the things that we need to be looking at. We have our annual retreat in June this year, and that's part of what we'll be doing. Hearing from you guys is really important. That microphone in the center there today is a place where you can get up and express yourself. Is there a song there in there somewhere? Good deal. So, without any further ado, I've said what I came here to say. Again, open door. Please speak your heart, speak your consciousness, because you are a big part of what the board needs to keep moving forward. So, I would very much like to invite Jim Lakin, because May is when we'll have our annual election for new board members. If you would come up and talk about the nominating committee.
Great. Thank you. I was asked to be the chairperson of the nominating committee, which was made up of Lisa Marks, Reverend Patty, Alva Pope, and myself. So we were tasked with speaking with those people who we could think that would be a good fit for future board members. We made many phone calls and also personal approaches to people, and we came up with actually 4 people that will be running for the board in May. And those are the following people: Sharon Mann, Andy Galma, I think that's pronounced correctly, hopefully, Kathy Breeze, and Lawrence Schechter. 2 of them are going to be taking the prosperity class that Lisa and Patty are going to be giving. And it's never too late. If there's anybody else that would like to throw their hat into the ring, I would certainly encourage you to do that. As a former board member myself, I served on for 7 years, and it's a valuable position, and it is a commitment, no doubt about it, for you to serve on the board. And the board serves at the pleasure of the congregation and the minister. So certainly, if you're thinking that, maybe not this year, maybe next year, or you might have some interest, I would encourage you to maybe come to a board meeting, see what happens there, and see if that's something that, you could fit into your life. I know for me, it was a very valuable experience. It was challenging, particularly when I was treasurer. So I have great sympathy for Myra here. But it's really a valuable experience, and it is a team effort that the board works in. So that's pretty much all I had. So look for those board members those potential board members will be coming up in the future, and I guess basically creating a bio about what their experience is, why they think they could serve on the board, and listen. So look forward to that. And if you got any questions about being on the board, then certainly now would be the time. If come up to the microphone if you've got a question, please.
I think it would be helpful if you explained what the term of the board is,
Okay.
how long they're going to be on there, and what their duties are going to be.
Okay, that's great. That's great. I appreciate that question. Yes, to serve on the board, we've actually got 2 full-time positions, which are going to be a 3-year term. So the full board members serve 3 years, and those kind of stagger so that we're not, reinventing the wheel every year. It's not like we clean the slate and start all over again. So we have 2 people coming off the board this year, and we'll have 2 full-time members on there. The other 2 positions that are available are the alternates. Now, the alternates are those, and basically, these elections are done by whoever gets the most amount of votes, obviously becomes the board member. Second person would be the second most number of votes. And then the other 2 positions would be then alternates. Now, an alternate generally serves just for 1 year. And if for some reason one of the board members can't fulfill their duties for that 3-year period, then the alternate for whatever year that would happen to be in would then be the next person to come on to the board. As far as the responsibilities go, there's the secretary position, which Lisa has had for this past year. They're basically charged with keeping track of what goes on in the board meetings, discussions, decisions, and the like. Then there's also the treasurer position, which Myra has right now, and she's involved with meeting with the minister as well as the board and determining how money is going to be spent, and planning out for what's needed to be done to raise funds if there is an expense that's coming up or something like that. Then there's the president of the board. President of the board basically is the person that kind of, you've seen Amy up here numerous times, and she does a great job communicating what it is that the board is doing, working very closely with the Minister Patty here in terms of what are the issues that need to be brought up and dealt with there. And then the vice president's kind of like our vice president. They don't do much, No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, the vice president is also, they're her figurehead, just in case the president can't deal with it. So,
She works hard, too.
all right.
We have our vice president working very hard doing CARES team and youth and other things.
That's right. Janet's been really busy as that, I'm sure.
Even alternates work hard on our board.
Yes.
They take on, committees and liaisons and things like that.
We can't hear what she's saying.
She's saying that the alternates also take on a lot of responsibility as far as committees go, also in doing any kind of activities or special assignments or something like that. So, yeah.
So my question is any of the people that you mentioned, are they here? Like, could they raise their hands? Because some of the names I did not recognize. We introduced ourselves earlier. Yeah, sorry.
Kathy Breeze is here.
Kathy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I not mention her?
Yeah,
Okay.
you mentioned her. I just
I know,
was
I
not walking in yet. I was going to go somewhere else.
Well,
Sorry.
that's why in the future we're going to have a time when they actually come up and we'll make the case of why they are an excellent choice to serve on the board.
Sorry
and
about
what
that.
they can offer
Yeah.
to the board.
And I
to the
can't be
church.
on the board, and I don't want to be on the board because I'm going to be driving to Mexico City to see Frida Kahlo's house because Diego Rivera made it into a museum. So can't be on the board.
No. All right. Okay, any other questions? I hope that answers basically what the board responsibilities are. So, if no more questions, so we'll move on. Thank you.
The board term can, when you're elected to the board as a board member, you can do the 3 years, and then you're also eligible to run again for another 3 years. The alternates, 1 year, and they can do that 3 times, 3 years in a row. I wanted to recognize our principal, headmistress of our Montessori school, Amanda Bolton, and her beloved Amanda's dream and her vision and her school have brought many gifts to our church, not only financially but spiritually as well. She is a member of our congregation, so thank you for being here today. The other thing I want to invite y'all to do, because I think this is something that's really important for board members, current board members in the future, and the ones that are running this time, is to get a copy of our policy and procedures and our bylaws. And if you have trouble sleeping, read this before bed. Really, this is the backbone and the manual and the drive of the board. And I think, I know Myra served on the board throughout her life here at UCBA. She's probably knows them backwards and forwards, but it's hard to, it's like 92 pages of stuff, and it's really hard to remember everything. But as a congregation, it's available to you, and I invite you to read those. All right, now, the next person I'd like to invite up here is our treasurer, Myra Faderspiel.
I do have a couple of slides, but I wanted to say I've got a pretty big foot, but trying to fill Jim Lakin's shoes as treasurer, forget it. My feet were just sort of swallowed there. And I really got up this morning going, spring is here, and didn't realize how cold it was when I walked outside. So that's why I'm up here freezing. All right. Could I have the first slide, the balance sheet? I hope you all can read it. I probably can't, but anyhow. I post this every month on the bulletin board, and it's just an accounting balance sheet. The main reason I wanted to put it up for you today is we have money. We're not broke. I've had several people go, are we in the black? Do we have enough money? Yes, because of all of your wonderful donations, love offerings, everything. But the big thing I wanted to point out is long-term liabilities, our mortgage. We took the mortgage out, it was $800,000. It's down to basically $439,000. But because we are a church, our mortgage is commercial, and we have to refinance it every 6 years. Guess what? It's coming due this year. We've got a great interest rate on it, 3.85%. We're not going to get 3.85%. We have to refinance by October 1st. If I'm still treasurer then, I will be working with our bank and the vice president that works with us to negotiate our rates. I did have a long conversation with them on Friday. They're holding at about 6%. We did anticipate that when we were putting together this year's budget, that for the last quarter of this year, our interest rate on the mortgage may be up to 6%. So that's coming down the pike. But if you have any questions about the balance sheet, just catch me afterwards. The figures on the balance sheet actually are as of March 24th. It'll change a tad when we run the full March report. Okay, should have a second slide. Now promise me if you all start just getting bored, and don't snore. All right. Actually, I need to go over to the income and expense. No, it should be one more slide. Oh, okay, okay. Is that what you all did? You messed me up. Okay, because it's not a lot on that sheet. This sheet.
Keep going, Dad.
There should have been another one that has the title under income and then 3-year endings. Oh, well, I will go over this with you. Our main source of income is general love offerings. That's what runs this church. We have other incomes like Fall Festival, Teddy Bear Sunday, special events like that. So for year ending of December 24, our total income was $461,950 and some odd cents. Year ending December 25. Now I've got to tell you, 25, I think I developed about 3 ulcers because the first 3 quarters of the year, we weren't getting income anywhere close to the projections. And the board can tell you, Myra had I got a lot of gray hair. That's why I started coloring it a little bit. But come the 1st of October last year, our love offerings suddenly increased. And it was like, and we got some very large donations. We actually ended the year with a total income of $454,530. After we took our expenses out, we had a plus income of $53,000. For 24, after we took our expenses out, we had a plus income of $94,000. Now, we had a lot of expenses last year. Maintenance issues, different things like that. Some of the things that we've got that are facing us right now. Our HVAC system is, 13 years old now? We've got a 20-ton unit in the attic that functions for the sanctuary. It's a big concern that it might be on its last leg. Several of the board members have been working. They've gotten 5 different estimates where we're looking at just replacing that 20-ton and piecemealing the replacement of the other heat pumps or doing the whole shebang. The costs right now are coming anywhere, and Jim, you can correct me, between 50 and 60 for the big unit and 100 and some thousand to do the whole thing. The big unit, it's big. It's got to have a crane come in. We have earmarked in our money market account $43,000 to go towards the replacement, whatever we do. And this is a decision that the board has to sit down. We've got to figure out how we're going to handle this. But if anyone's considering maybe doing a nice large donation, do it now. And we'll put it towards the HVAC system. And there are just other things around here that we have to really take a look at. We've got to do some repairing to the sidewalk, but the HVAC system is the biggie. What are our regular expenses? The biggest expense out of our monthly budget is our salaries and wages. That's where we pay Reverend Patty, our office staff, our sexton, who is the custodian, a fancy word for him, but also our musicians, our guest speakers, our audiovisual team. We pay the people who keep this place going, who are our foundation, Social Security taxes, liability taxes. Then we have the mortgage, of course, and in our insurance. So we've got some big issues, but it's all of your love and your open, giving hearts that keep us moving and growing, and we're just going to continue. Does anybody have any questions, or have I bored you stiff? I know it's not real. I had someone that I worked with who said, you know, Myra, what you do is not really sexy. And I have to say, maybe it's not real sexy, being treasurer, but it's a tough job. And like I said,
How much money is generated for the year from the Montessori school?
from the year, you would ask me.
Isn't it on your sheets?
Per month, it's monthly rental is a little over $3,800 a month. So they do contribute a substantial amount. And I should have memorized that, but I didn't. And I'm picking up everybody else's papers. Any other questions? Well, if you ever have any questions, just grab me. One thing we did project in the budget, we're doing some research on it, but we did put some funds in for possibly a new position for an associate minister. So we'll see. We're just, like I said, doing research, trying to figure out what would fit with the church and what can help Reverend Patty kind of ease her load a little bit.
As a projection, what do you think our total revenue will be at the end of 2026?
Oh, I thought we put it in here.
Just a projection. You don't have to be specific.
I got real creative with that one. I think I projected 480-some thousand, which is an increase over last year's projections.
How much more?
Well, last year we projected 450, and I think I projected 485. I failed to mention, I have been negotiating with our bank. We've been with Atlantic Union for years, years. And I haven't been real happy with the interest rate we've been getting off of our money market. And we've settled on a very nice increase. And hopefully that will go into effect next week.
Hello, Jim Birch here. Hi, Safari. It's okay. I don't have much to add. I'm on the board here. I kind of when Rusty passed, and I joined the board right about very shortly before he passed away. Rusty ran all of the, I do a lot of facilities managing. I facilitate the facilities, if you will. It took a committee of people to fill Rusty's shoes. I don't do everything. I don't claim to have that the capacity that he had. Rusty did everything to keep this place running, to fix things. There's always things going sideways with, just like we all have homes. And things break down. Last week we had to pay a couple $1,000s to repair the HVAC system, and it's just a constant keeping track of that. And we have a team of folks doing that. Myra mentioned the HVAC system, so I'm not going to go into all that. But if you have issues, concerns about what needs to be done, we have a list of things. We've got a lot of volunteers. We have a lot of skill in the congregation, people who volunteer their time like I do to just keep things running and keep things operating. But if you want to ask me about it, have any questions about the facilities, or have any concerns, or have any ideas, or you'd like to, if you have skills that you want to share, I think pretty much everybody here volunteers in some way to keep this place running, and that's what spiritual community is all about. So come see me, or you can ask a question now if you'd like, or you can come see me anytime, and we will listen to your concerns and listen to your questions and take them up with the board. Does anybody have any questions about the facilities? Really? Okay. Oh, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, did I miss my chance?
You did not. I want to introduce to you, this is Yogi, and I think there's Faith and Joel to come up. Our next generation unity. All right.
Okie dokie. I'll keep this short since there's three of us. If you guys want to share, no pressure. It's said that the NGU age range is 18 to 40, but if you ask me, that's just a suggestion. This last weekend was my third retreat. I think both of their first retreat. And forgive me if I sound like a broken record, but the folks I see at each of these retreats are more and more like family every time. I'm always surprised to witness and feel the support firsthand. We're really excited to put together smaller events and gatherings among the regions that are close together. So coming up here pretty soon will be a river cleanup and a camping trip with some of the North Carolina folks from Greensboro and Raleigh. Maybe even another field day like we did here last year. It'd be kind of cool. Don't worry, I will remember to bring the deck of cards, the football, and the roller skates. Spring retreat for 2026. That was a good one, and I don't know if I'm qualified to answer any questions, but I could certainly try. And you know anybody that would consider?
Just how many states were there at the NGU? Do you know?
There's regions. It's classified by northeast, southeast, central, and then southwest and northwest. That's about all I could tell. It was 40 some of us there. I don't know how many states. We were the most important state, so.
So I had the honor of being able to be one of the scholarship applicants. So I was really grateful for the opportunity to go. And, I was kind of teetering on the edge of I don't know if I should go or not. And, I had a lot of things to do here, and I was so glad I went. It was really beautiful to see people from all over the country coming together in fellowship and under the unity principles and being able to share. We had heart talks. We sang songs, we played cards, we roller skated, we threw the football. But we also, had so many deep conversations, and to be able to get together with other young, like-minded people in the unity world was really beautiful. 10 out of 10, would do again.
I was also really grateful for the opportunity to go, and I just wanted to thank the people who, people I know like raised money to help us get there with like gas money and stuff, which was super, super helpful. I was also a scholarship person. It was a great retreat. I felt my heart open up a lot, and a lot of really cool people, and thank you. I want to thank this community so much for your welcoming and your support.
Not be an easy question, but I'm just curious because I'm still kind of learning about what you all do and how everything fits together. And I just had a question about what is your vision for how, what you all want to see for NGU in the upcoming year, and how can the congregation support you in that vision or goals or anything like that? And I'm sorry to put you on the spot if that's like not at all what you were thinking about for today. So we can talk later if it's
That's a phenomenal question. How it's been so far has been kind of an evolving group that has been a group of us kind of ebbing and flowing and diving deeper into unity principles and how we can apply that in our lives, but also how we can spread it in the community with outreach and service projects, and connecting with all the people at the retreat too has been a really nice opportunity to weave this mycelial web of connecting all these different regions and being able to, like Yogi just said, create other smaller like regional gatherings. And it's I've kind of been living vicariously through Yogi's experience with these retreats, but the amount of people that have caught wind of the NGU as its own little micro ministry is pretty phenomenal. That the numbers are growing for sure. But yeah.
A lot of folks are from YOU that are now in NGU, and they have a better idea than I do because I'm relatively new to the church. But for what it's worth, if I'm not mistaken, it's the last Sunday of every month, the NGU meetup that we do here, usually out in the gazebo. I mentioned earlier that the age range is from 18 to 40. It's like more of a suggestion, but everybody's welcome to the NGU meetups on the last Sunday of each month to just see what we do and observe what we do. But also, if you have suggestions or if you'd like to bring something, we're always eager to incorporate and integrate new disciplines or practices into what we do just here.
If I may just add, I think if I could answer that question in a summed up sentence, I think it's just to be able to, by osmosis, take the wisdom of all of you and all the path that you all have laid out, and kind of take our unique outlook on where we're headed, and try to merge the two, and put our own little flair on it.
With more card games.
pretty exciting to see these young folks and thinking that 40 is young. That sounds even greater, yeah. All right, next up I would like to introduce Marcy Murphy and whoever else is with her team today. She's going to talk about the columbarium and the memorial garden. Give everybody an update and introduce to some of you that may not be familiar with it.
Good afternoon. Nice to see you all. I am intentionally going to be very vague about details because this is still very much a work in progress. You're certainly free to ask questions if you want a specific answer, but I'm going to be sort of very general about this. So on the Memorial Garden team is myself, Jim Lakin, Becky Maines, with tremendous support from Amy and Reverend Patty. So we're getting together as time permits and progress requires for us to get together to kind of think this whole project through. So to start with, we are honoring Rusty Rothrock's vision, and this is literally his vision for the Memorial Garden. And the location of this vision is going to be directly out these windows. So the area that is now currently very overgrown will ultimately look like this. To some, like we're making some very small tweaks to Rusty's vision, but ultimately this is what we hope to accomplish out there. So sort of as a warning, that area is going to look a little naked for a while. Partly because obviously what's out there will need to go. Not all of it. We're going to save whatever we can. There is a tremendous overgrowth of bamboo out there, however, which has to go regardless of whether this vision comes to pass or not. The bamboo's got to go. So just a little forewarning. But this is ultimately what we hope to achieve. So we're going to start with one columbarium, which, if you're not familiar with that term, it's basically a masonry structure with niches in it. The first one will have 50 niches. Each niche can accommodate 2 urns, so the capacity to hold 100 sets of cremains in this structure. Then off to this side, we are going to have a combination scattering garden, if you'd prefer to have your ashes scattered, or if you want them buried directly in the ground, that area will be located off to the left here. So looking at this, here would be the promenade off to the, what is my left. So you'd be looking down onto this area. Then there'll be a walkway from the gravel path down into the columbarium area there. So I'm going to pretty much just leave it at that. If you have questions, please feel free to ask. We've also created an interest survey. If you think that maybe you'd like to explore the opportunity to have your final resting place be in the garden, there's an interest survey by the door. If you would fill one out, we would be happy to get that information so we have a sense of how many people, would like to have this be their final resting place. So. Questions? No.
Yeah. Are we definitely doing this?
We are, that is our intention, yes. Yes. Oh, she wants to know if we are definitely doing that, and that is certainly our intention.
In former meetings, it wasn't clear that we were definitely doing this, so I'm thrilled.
We are moving forward with the intention of doing it.
Excellent.
Exactly. We do not. We will be keeping it within, I'm going to use
Do we have any idea how much it will cost to have our ashes in the columbarium?
I'm not going to put a number out there. I'm going to use sort of a crass term and just say it will be within market parameters. So if you were to price it at a traditional cemetery or at another memorial garden, our prices will be within that range. But we can't, until we have a final cost, we can't give you a per niche price. I will say,
not even an estimate?
Don't hold me to this number. can I give them a range of potential price? $3,000 to $4,000, which is pretty much standard. Yeah.
I think part of the uncertainty around this was Rusty's project, right? I mean, he had this whole thing, like a bull by the horns, and so when he passed, we had to kind of, we know there was already a decision to move forward with the plans, but we had to kind of pick it all up and revisit everything and figure out, pick up the pieces where it was left off. So I mean, that's, it's not like we're, it's just a matter of, going forward with the plan with a new committee who's going to
right. So basically what he left us was the vision, which is wonderful, but now we are down to brass tacks and having to talk to landscape architects and figure out drainage and wiring and all of that sort of things, which is why I'm intentionally being vague, because we don't have those numbers yet.
And the other part of the vision is that it would pay for itself.
Yes.
But we have to actually get the costs of what it's going to cost to, put it all in. And so we're in the process of figuring that out right now.
I just had the thought that maybe I wouldn't so much be interested in having my cremains there, but if there was a plaque, if there was some way to have a plaque display, maybe that could be another way to have a memorial in that same area and have some income generated, maybe donation to have your plaque there without a maintenance.
Right. Yeah, and that is certainly a possibility. Yeah.
And maybe a little prayer area. So.
Just as an FYI, Hollywood Cemetery charges $10,000 for the same thing, so $3,000 to $4,000.
Right.
Pretty good.
Yeah. And we will certainly, as we progress and we are ready to open it for people to make a reservation, we will be providing much, much more detail. We just don't want to get into that since so much of it is still very nebulous at this point.
So I just want to let everyone know that there was a team called the Joyful Planning Team that Zita headed up, where we did a lot of research into this process before Rusty got involved. And we were basically shut down because his vision wasn't our vision. We looked at other areas in the garden that we thought would be more reasonable and less expensive to set up, particularly because of I know the bamboo has to go anyway, but there are drainage issues in that swale. So there are other areas where you wouldn't have to deal so much with the drainage issues or with that huge incline that we thought would be more accessible to the pathway. And we've asked a number of times to have an estimate by the landscaper for both areas, just so you have a comparison. We did a survey as the Joyful Planning Team got started, to ask what everybody was interested in, and our plan was acknowledged all of those requests. And maybe this is doing some of that, but I don't know that it's recognizing everything. Your questionnaire doesn't really include the part about in-ground niches. I know you said you're talking about having something.
Right, we're not going to have, in this setup, we're not going to have in-ground niches. Right. They can be buried directly in the ground, but not in a niche.
Right, so that was one of the things that we put on the original survey. And in the original survey, it was pretty much split evenly between scattered niches and the columbarium. So I just want everybody to know that there was a plan, and it was just taken off the table.
Nadine, thank you so much for bringing that to our attention. I think acknowledging that and not trying to backpedal or make excuses or anything like that, I think this whole process probably started several years ago. Marcy, you were on the original team. And then there was a blend of the Joyful team. I know Montessori was involved in it as well. So I don't know that I can explain how all that evolved, but I think that's one of the things that we do learn from, acknowledge, to know we probably could have done it differently or done it better. It has not progressed in that manner. And, on behalf of the board and this committee, where there's an apology, because there have been other folks that have stepped forward and said, hey, what happened to all this? And I just want to speak to a little bit about the board itself. We evolved and have survived COVID. We've survived the congregation because the doors weren't open for so long, getting a little bit smaller, and we went through the loss of a minister. We went through several months without a minister. Reverend Patty came into our lives, and we do know that through her vision and her messages and her love that things have really grown exponentially. The board, and since I've been on the board, it's been an evolving board in terms of learning how to work together, learning how to try to find ways to better communicate with the congregation, and all the while nipping at our heels, so to speak, has been the tremendous growth of people here in our spiritual community. The realization that with all the activity that's been created by Reverend Patty's programs, Love and Action Team, the Garden Team, it's all that kind of growth has been an explosion. And we have history. We have some painful history where we may not have communicated with everybody as much as we could have. So I'm not sure where we go from here with that piece of it, with the Joyful team, but there was a tremendous amount of work done. So I do want to acknowledge that. And we have a question or a comment from online.
Yeah, and you can finish your.
Okay. So I mean, it is what it is, and we learn from it, and we try not to recreate that. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions about that? Okay. Thank you, Carrie.
Yeah, the question that I have online is from two people. They were asking about the survey for the columbarium being made available online.
Okay, Marcy says it will be. It will be.
Okay.
Carrie?
The question that I have, and I think the project is a good idea, but would that in any way interfere with our expansion? If in the near future, out maybe 10 years, we decided to expand the sanctuary or expand the property, would that in any way conflict with expansion?
That is a great question. And I don't know if I know the answer to that. Reverend Patty? The buck stops with you.
So I'd say if we're trying to go out that window, that's not going to work. But we're anything that requires adding to a building and that kind of thing, you have to have people planning, thinking, doing, and we haven't gone there. We're trying to figure out where everybody's going to park. So we realize because the Montessori school has so much space that's involved in classrooms that, we're in tight space quarters. So this is stuff to be addressed and looked at as we move forward. But thank you, Carrie. That's a great question.
And this is where it is so important for, I think, for us as my vision, and I think the board's vision is we're not compartmentalized. The church is made up of, the congregants are at the top, next come the board, and then the foundation is our minister, Reverend Patty. So I think of us as, a living organization that we're all together in all of this. This year at our annual retreat, we are going to be looking at a lot of issues strategically about what is faced with our church because of our growth in our congregation, because of the financial things that are facing us, and also the need for expansion. We're beginning to bust out at the seams here. So this board's trying to be transparent. If we have successes, we're going to celebrate them. If we miss the mark, then we miss the mark, and we try to learn from that. Does anybody have any other questions about anything that we might be able to talk about?
Well, I just wanted to address Nadine's concern there. As far as looking at some of the other alternatives, we have not talked to any landscape architect at this point. That involves putting out money. So if we're going to look at more than one place, then we're going to have to dig into our pockets, and we're going to have to consider that. We're also going to have to consider our neighbors, because I know one of the locations is very close to a neighbor who has not always been the most friendly neighbor to us. So if they were informed of our intentions, I don't know what their reaction would be, but of course that's something that we need to take into consideration. I have talked to a landscape architect from Cross Creek, and I have an appointment set up to get together with them. But they won't even talk to you unless you give them $200. And what you get for $200 is not much. You're not going to get any kind of plan and any kind of timeline or anything like that from them. You're talking thousands of dollars. So, it is a process that we've gone through. I've been involved in, trying to get some pricing on, the things that Rusty had kind of put together, because he had some figures jotted down and stuff like that. But, trying to reverse engineer basically what he had done, because there wasn't a whole lot of record. There were some numbers and things like that, and there was a sketch that you saw up there. But other than that, measurements and other technicalities were not there. Yeah. So it's an ongoing process, and it's good to hear that, I guess we can get certainly a landscape architect and look at more than one location, and then take some of those other things into consideration as to, how it's going to impact our neighbors and our community here.
So Jim, is the committee, the Columbarium committee, are those meetings open to the congregation?
Well, up to this point, it's just been, Marcy, Becky, Patty, myself, and Amy here. We haven't really opened it up just because we thought we had somewhat of a mandate to basically pursue what we were going after there. So if we're going to look at other things, then we can look at other things. But, up until this point, no.
So, would it be appropriate to invite congregants to provide input, is what all I'm saying?
Maybe some of the meetings.
I suppose so, or, yeah, I mean, through the survey, we can do the survey again and find out, whether that balance is still the same, in-ground niches as opposed to a columbarium, that kind of mix. Because, obviously economic times have changed and people's needs have changed also, so.
I just wonder, Carrie brought up such a valid point. Should we make the decision first about expansion before we spend money, time, and effort on a location that we might need for expansion?
Well, I think that's probably an issue that the board will be taking up and will want input from the congregation, as to what's going to happen there too. So I don't know.
I have something technical for you. If you're going to scatter human remains into the ground, you're going to have to consult with the health department.
Yeah, we've taken all that into consideration.
Okay. I'm trying to think of a PC way to say this. But how much interest was there into doing a project like that? To me, I would be more interested in having maybe a, what do you call the walks? The maze type walk.
Well, we have a labyrinth out there.
Oh, a labyrinth. More of a memorial that you could walk through and contemplate, be out in nature. That the project that you're proposing looks like an old-fashioned, how churches used to have graveyards next to them. It doesn't feel, and I don't know, I know, I've only been here a year. I don't know if the congregation was brought in to see if that was a project that they thought was a good idea. Or...
Well, Rusty had done, I guess, a selected mailing to a number of people that he thought was going to be interested in it. And at the time, I think he had like 14 people.
We had more congregational input.
Yeah, and there was other congregational input at that point, prior to, I guess that was about a year ago or 2 years ago. 3 years ago. I don't know when it was. Yeah, I mean, we've kicked this around for a while, for sure.
So my question is, are we at maximum capacity or nearing that now as far as this room? And
for the congregation? No.
Yeah.
We still have more chairs that we could add to this room here. Mm-hmm. So as far as expansion, I don't know. I know there was always an expressed interest on Rusty's part of the Hill property next door, because if we were going to expand, that would be the optimum way to go.
That was my understanding earlier, but I was just wondering about how many more chairs we could
if we were to add on another classroom, say that the Montessori people needed, 2 or 3 more questions.
All right, we have another question from online.
Okay.
Actually, this one's from me, or it's just a comment. There's always the ability to add second service, like we used to do when we were in the small house. Probably a lot less expensive than knocking walls out.
Right. Yeah, and as far as our classrooms go, our classrooms are adequate for the number of children that we have now, and we can always expand into the Montessori classrooms, because that was part of the original plan, was that they have movable furniture, so if we needed to move it out of the way for Sunday classes, it could be done. So that's still an option, if we end up having more kids, which would be wonderful, but, as far as adding on to the church for just classrooms or something like that, it's not needed. We can easily add another 100 chairs in here. I think Dan made the count today. There were like 110 people in the service today. So that's pretty good. But this room will hold, I think, almost up to 300, depending on how you arrange the chairs. Now, comfortably, probably more like 250, 225. But still, that does give us quite a bit of room for growth and expansion. And like Deb mentioned, we could go back to 2 services, because at the time we were doing 2 services, we were probably getting, 50, 60 people at a service, maybe something like that. Thank you, Jim. Yep. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Oh, there's 160 chairs right now, and we do have probably room for more chairs. This is good. This is good discussion, good conversation. We have some hot topics. So, Madam Secretary, if you would make note that, the board, through voting, selected this site right here back in the fall. I think we anticipated coming back to the congregation after such a long period of time not really talking about the columbarium, that it would stimulate some discussion, some questions, and feelings. My goodness, that's where we come from, is our love and our feelings. So the columbarium, hot topic, and that's okay. And, expansion, talk about expansion. And there's all kinds of pieces and parts to that. So we hear you. We hear you. Any other questions? Well, we can look forward to the third Sunday in May, which I don't have the date in front of me right now. Let me look it up real quick. When is that? It's going to be our Unity and Community meeting, which will be the 17th of May. There'll be a lot more information shared. We'll be celebrating the outcome of our elections. Today doesn't stop here. Communicate with us. You've seen all the board members. They're very accessible. They're in the directory. Email us, pick up the phone. A lot of congregants call me and talk to me about a lot of different things, and I encourage that. And if we, as a spiritual community, need to continue mending fences, if you will, or the past, it is time. It's time to heal those things, and that we're open to that. That is a commitment that we are, because we're here together to be we are one. We are one. If we are practicing our principles, we are one. So we hear each other with love and respect and kindness. So any other comments, questions? May 17th. May 17th, please bring somebody with you. A lot of people stayed today, and I'm really grateful, because I think we had some good conversation, some good ideas came up, and good questions and challenges. And it's lunchtime. Oh, yes, for a lot of us it is lunchtime. So, okay. Reverend Patty, would you pray us out? And I'm very grateful for all of you being here and for all of you on the front line that are working with all of us.
Thank you. So another breath in. We stand in gratitude for this community, for this beautiful facility, for ideas that are generated and motivation to move forward, and holding each other's hearts, ideas, holding that we are one together. So we move out into our day with joy, with gratitude, knowing that God is good all the time, and we are ready to be blessed and to be a blessing to others. And so it is. So it is.
Give a shout out to Deb Thompson and to Dan O'Neill for our support today. Thank you so much.